Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Bryan W. Adams.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining today's Inspire podcast. This is a different podcast we're going to be doing today, that we're announcing something that is so important for integrity as a whole. Here at Integrity, we've got 5 core values that we live by in everything that we do, and it's really about integrity, doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching. It's about family. It's about serving American families, about serving the Integrity family. It's really about supporting your own family. It's about service, which is such an important part of what we do here at Integrity. We're truly a service company. It's about respect, really treating everybody the way that God created them. And it's about partnership. And that's why we've been trying to live out our core values in every aspect, including making Integrity an employee-owned company. And today, we're continuing to build out on those core values and really focusing on one of our most important core values of service. And I'm so excited to welcome Elyse Farah as our president of our new Integrity Foundation to help us live out our core value of service in a whole new way. Now, Elyse joined us not too long ago to really help us build out this idea that we have on really serving others in their local community and really just continuing on in a generational aspect of serving through a foundation. About 1.5 years ago, I announced to our partners that I wanted to start a foundation. And there's several things that if I could go back in time and start at the very beginning of when we founded Integrity, it would have been setting up an Integrity Foundation then. And it was this idea of a company like ours, we should be giving back in more ways and looking for ways to have deeper impacts and longer lasting impacts in the communities that we serve. And so I announced that to our partner group. Our partner group rallied around that in such a huge way that we raised millions of dollars in one event to say, let's come together and really set up this amazing foundation. And then we went out and looked for the best leader for that foundation. And that's why I'm so excited to have Elyse joining us today to tell you what we've been working on and what the future holds. So Elyse, thank you for joining the Integrity Foundation, but thank you for joining the Inspire podcast for us to share to all of our team and all of our incredible partners what we're building and what you've been leading. So let's just talk a little bit about the foundation, why you're so passionate about giving back, and maybe a little background history on you. So maybe introduce yourself first, and then we'll jump into some of the exciting things we're working on.
Awesome. Well, it's such a privilege to be here with you, Bryan, and to be here as part of the Integrity family. I actually started my career as a service member working in schools with kids all over the U.S., and I've had this really wonderful journey as a professional to work in the nonprofit sector and then to swap over and start working in the corporate sector to help corporations and companies figure out how they can give back. What I'm so excited about with Integrity is we have this unique opportunity to tap into our employees, our carriers, our partners, and find out how we can be uniquely positioned to give back to communities all over the U.S. It's really a remarkable opportunity and something that's quite unique for the Integrity family.
Well, I agree. And service is such an important aspect of what we do. And this idea of the Integrity Foundation has been something that's been just a huge passion project for mine, as you know. And I know it's something that you just care so deeply about, but it's really about this idea of how do we continue to take the success that we've had and continue to multiply that, have a deeper impact in the communities that we serve, and give back as much as possible. And this idea of integrity gives back is something that we've been talking about for quite some time. And now we can really formalize that through the Integrity Foundation and tie in all of our employees, our partners, our carriers, all the different agents, advisors that we work with, and have a big impact in so many different ways. Whenever we kind of lived out these core values, and we're trying to live these out every single day, really there were certain times in our journey that we said, listen, if we say this is a core value, then we've got to put our money where our mouth is, and we've got to live that out. So one example of that is when we became employee-owned in 2019. It was this idea that we are a large partnership. We partner with great people, but we had to make sure that that meant something to everybody involved. All of the different employees and the most important people in our business. Integrity is a people-based business. We're a company powered by people. If we ever forget that, we'll be out of business, as I say a lot of times. And so we said, listen, we have to become employee-owned. And it's been something that I think just changed the trajectory of the company we're building, of the way that we serve people differently. Everybody, as an owner, looks at this as a much deeper kind of relationship that they have with our customers to make sure that we do the right thing in every way. And then on service, we said the same thing. We said, listen, if we're going to have service as one of our core values, we need to give back. And we need to make time for people to give back. And one of the things we heard was, I don't have time to do that. And so we said, listen, we'll pay you to go and give back. And so every employee has about 2 days off a year that we say, listen, we will pay you to go out into your community and to serve, whether that's at a local charity that you're working on individually. You got to clear that with your manager at the time off. Or if that's a group activity that your department does or your entire office does. There's so many amazing examples that I could point to that different departments do. I know our legal team here in Dallas goes every month and serves at a homeless shelter. We have a lot of different fundraisers and different activities that we do, and we'll talk about some of those here in a minute. There's offices that just rally around Make-A-Wish and United Way and so many different groups that do so many cool things. And we literally say, we will pay you to go and serve in your community. And that actually adds up to millions of dollars of us giving back into local communities. And then it's really about how do we have even more lasting impacts. And so one of the things that you've been working on here is to help us really clarify our mission, make sure that we got the right tax structure for people to give into the foundation. I'm proud to say that so many of our partners have given a lot to this foundation. And so we've got the right tax structure that we're set up as a 501c3. So it's a tax deductible gift whenever you give that. It's a public charity, so that we have the opportunity, and we can talk a little bit about what that means, so that people can give. And we've got a really broad definition of how we can go out and serve as part of that. But one of the things that we've been, and you've been spending a lot of your time on kind of the mundane aspects of setting up a foundation, which who knew it's a lot of work to be able to do that. But we've got to get that foundation laid correctly. And then what we said is, let's define our mission. So explain to everyone here about what our mission is and what the purpose is of the Integrity Foundation.
Well, I love what you were mentioning about the employee ownership program, because I've heard you say this: when we work, we win, we prosper together. And I think the way that we've crafted the Integrity Foundation's purpose and mission is perfectly aligned with that. So the Integrity Foundation mobilizes its partner, employee, customer, and carrier networks to serve with a spirit of abundance, connecting people with opportunities that protect life, health, and wealth, promoting vital, vibrant, and sustainable communities. What we can do is we can go and tap into this incredible Integrity family, this network of businesses, and all of our partners, and we can figure out how we can give back in really big ways, going above and beyond what we already do in the service of our customers, and replicate that out to the communities. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, and whenever you mention that, there's kind of 4 words that we put together a lot, where we work, win, prosper, and share. And this is that idea that if we all come together and work really hard, we all will win together. We all will prosper together. And then at the end of the day, it's about giving back. And I think people who have been given a lot have a responsibility to give back a lot. And I think that there's this idea of abundance. One of the words that you just used is abundance. And I truly believe that if you live with the spirit of abundance, and what I mean by that is if you're holding on tightly to something, you'll never really be able to give back. You'll never be able to do anything. But if you live with open hands, where you can give and receive, first of all, I don't think you can outgive God. I don't think that there's It's this idea, and Steve Young mentioned this to me one day. He was like, I think the reason integrity has always been so successful is because you all live out the spirit of abundance that most other companies don't. And that is that idea. So in stock ownership, the typical approach to that is, I own it, it's mine, don't touch it, right? And for us, we said, look, at some point, everybody should share in that. And when we said everybody, we truly meant everybody. And when we opened kind of our hands and said, we want all of you to participate, it changed everything. We grew faster. I think that the examples of how we're doing business based on core values and giving back and doing things like this sets a great corporate message of ways to give back. And I love the fact that you talk about the 4 E's a lot. You talk about elevate, engage, empower, and educate. Tell us what that means to you.
Well, okay, so if we think about Elevate, we think about the world-class service that Integrity offers its customers. And I think we can do that same kind of thing in the community space. I work a lot with community partners who kind of have the same old boring experience with companies that are giving back. But just like you said, we have this incredible set of people that compose the Integrity family, and we can elevate the experience of serving and giving back. We have engaged employees who want to give their time and who have the opportunity to give their time. And when I think about empower, I think a little bit of the idea of ties, talents, time, treasure. There's a lot of different ways that you can give back. And when you can think about how you are uniquely positioned to give back, you can make such a meaningful, high impact difference. And then we can educate ourselves. What do communities really need? How do we go out and find out what communities are missing and how we can bring our resources to bear to fill those gaps in service to families and kids and communities all around.
I love that. And I think that there's so many ways that we can try to give back and look for ways to do that. And what we've been working on is really trying to define the objectives of the Integrity Foundation, tied around the 3 pillars of what we're building here at Integrity, really about being able to serve people holistically with their life, health, and their wealth, which really opens up this idea that everything we're doing at the foundation is here to support really the business structure as well, to really kind of live that out in so many different ways. And so health has been our biggest part of our business, and it's such an important aspect. And if you think about the impact that we have on Americans with planning for their health, has been just incredible. It's humbling to think about the impact that our team, the entire Integrity family, has on helping people plan for their health, and especially their insurance needs around that. And so the first point that we've been focusing on for several years now is really our toy drive, and really focused on children-focused initiatives and giving back to children's hospitals. Tell us about what you think about that.
Well, I mean, certainly the connection to the business is important. And I also think it's pretty hard for us to find a family in our Integrity network of businesses that hasn't been impacted by a health issue with somebody in their family, and often a child. And so that's such a compelling way for us to give back and to be connected to what we do in the health space already. We know that we've had huge success with our toy drives, which was an initiative that came from your family. Last year, we donated over 16,000, and that was just what we were able to count. I suspect that number was a lot higher. 16,000 toys nationally to children's hospitals. And that's because we know that if you can bring a child and their family joy for a little bit of time during this really significant treatment, their outcomes will be significantly improved. And that's something everybody can get behind. So that's been really wonderful. And I know we're going to make that bigger and better and even more widespread across the network. The original idea came from my son, Asher, who had gone to the hospital, had gotten a toy, and it just kind of changed the entire experience for him. And I truly believe that is it's part of care, really. I mean, it's part of, kind of the medicine of being able to enjoy a moment in a tough time. And so he had the idea of giving back to children's hospitals. And so we started that kind of as a family, and then the Integrity family jumped in and supported, and it's just continued to build out. And it's been really amazing. And as you said, it's amazing seeing the other offices, the other stories that have happened, because everybody, really can understand, especially the challenge that goes through when you have
a sick kid, if you have a child that doesn't understand everything that they're going through, and being able to just brighten their day is so incredible. And so we're continuing to build that out, and it's going to continue to get bigger and better. And part of that is inviting your family to join with that. And whenever we buy the toys, because we do a lot of kind of the matching personally on that. My kids get online. They don't like picking. I got 2 boys, so they don't love picking out the girl toys. But boy, they can buy the boy toys because they are into Legos, Transformers, Nerf guns, and footballs and basketballs and everything from that nature. But it's been so fun to see, and I can't wait when we really announce this again, probably around Thanksgiving, around the holidays. You'll be seeing a lot from us around our toy drive, which is something that I encourage all of you to get involved in, and I encourage you to invite your kids to play with you in that. That's just one of the coolest parts about inviting your family, your friends, some of our service providers. We've had great, banks that we work with that heard what we were doing and said, hey, we want to give. And it's been cool. There was a lady at a bank that we work with that said one of the coolest things she did with her kids was go out and buy toys and deliver them as part of our toy drive. And so I encourage everybody, just get excited about that, get ready for that. That'll come out again around Thanksgiving. We'll be talking more about that so that we can get ready for the holidays and really brighten people's day around that. The other part of our business, so if you think about health and wealth as part of our business, wealth has been also a huge part of what we're building. And we're building really initiatives around wealth for our foundation as well. And part of that is really helping kids get great educations. And really that starts with school supplies, especially for underserved communities and disadvantaged kids that may not be able to go out and buy school supplies. Now, it's hard to believe the school's coming back right now.
Very soon.
And everywhere you go, you see school supplies. And so that's another way that we're giving back. So let's talk about that for a second.
Back to school time, I think for many families can be quite stressful. And yes, of course, you have this long, lengthy supply list and all manner of things. And so one of the ways that we can support our communities, and especially like you said, some of our communities that might be more underserved or under-resourced, is providing them with some of the essentials. And those might be things like notebooks and pens and papers. Might also be things like backpacks and sneakers and jackets. I know we don't think about jackets in Texas right now, but certainly in the near future, it's going to be cold. And the basic needs, just like you're thinking about in the health space, if we're thinking about a holistic treatment plan for a kid who is in treatment for an illness, it's true for kids in school. There's a lot of different elements that determine how successful they'll be in school. So we can think about how do we find, serving with a spirit of abundance, how can we go out and find the needs that our schools and our students have so that they can have the best outcomes in school. And that will certainly prepare them to be successful as they grow up and mature and become the citizens in the next generation that leads our wonderful country.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to give back. One of the things we've tried to make sure as we've set up the foundation is to try to make this simple for people to get involved. So a toy drive is, for $19 you can go buy a teddy bear that will change a kid's outlook of a hospital stay. Every community that we're in has hospitals. Most of them have children's hospitals. Every single one of those hospitals need toys and resources like we're talking about. In addition, every single one of our communities that we serve have great school systems, and they have kids that need help. Every year, there are so many different opportunities to serve in your local schools. And so as an office leader, man, I encourage you to reach out to Mary Elyse, look at ways we can help support you, give you ideas to do that. We'll be doing some school supply drives, and we're doing some of that right now that you'll see even more of. But even during the year, there's so many cool things that you can do. So a couple of things that I know some of our offices do is the mentoring, where they take time. And listen, there's no excuses. We pay you to go and do these things. We will literally pay you to go and serve in your community. So some of them go and take time to go read to a fourth grader or a second grader, to go and mentor with big brothers, big sisters. Look for ways that they can give back in different areas like that. And in addition, one of the things I know my family loves to do is some of the things you don't think about is how kids, especially on government-assisted food programs, when holidays come around, they don't have food. A lot of families may not be able to provide the essentials of food. So one of the things every year my family does around Thanksgiving and Christmas is we go and serve at this place called Love Packs, where we literally, and they make it so easy.
Assembly line.
Where it's an assembly line system where you go and you get, bare essentials that the kids need, so that when they go home for Thanksgiving, that their family has food, especially for kids who may only be getting that meal at school every year or every day during that. And so it's something that we bring in our kids. We put together, like you said, it's an assembly line process where you show up, you put together the box, put all the different things, including soups and crackers and a lot of non-perishable canned items. And then one of the coolest parts of it is you get to write on the boxes. And our kids have loved like writing little messages or drawing different things or putting stickers on the boxes. And then you think about the impact that has when a kid goes home for their family for that extended period of time, such as Thanksgiving or Christmas, so that they've got essentials. And man, these things are so easy, and they're available in every single community. And so think about ways that you can serve around that. When we think about building for the next generation, how you create a great country and how we continue to help people build wealth is to really start in the early days of great education. And so that's why we really picked that to really focus on, especially initially, around how do you get great education and help people get the school supplies, get the support that they need to get their education. And then when you think about life, part of life is about leaving a legacy. And really, I believe that it's such an important part of what we are building here at Integrity. And one of the things I've always think about when I hear legacy, it's about, there was a quote I read one time. It said, leaving a legacy is like planting a tree that you'll never set under the shade. And it's really this idea that you got to think longer term about how do we impact communities, how do we make sure that we give great places for kids to be kids. And so one of the things that we've chosen to do is look for ways that we can support building playgrounds and play spaces in the communities that we serve that will outlast all of us, that will be a permanent structure is in part of that, and looking for ways that we can go into our communities and looking for opportunities to partner with the local community where they will donate the land. Most of the time they have a playground already, and it's probably, was built in the 1970s or something like that, and it's not as safe as it is, may not have some of the more current things. For us to go in there, partner with the local community, with the cities and the community to make sure that we can go in and help refurbish that playground, help put in a whole new playground, and really about, our purpose is to help people for all spectrum of life. And so we've even had some opportunities to think about looking at building not just a playground, but also pickleball courts.
That's right, yes.
Mike Wingate came up with the idea. He was like, man, we should also be building pickleball courts to serve that opportunity. And so looking for some of those opportunities are so exciting. And I know you've spent a lot of time and energy on this initiative. So let's talk about what we're doing there.
Well, this is so exciting. We will be building our first playground in Norfolk, Nebraska. And I think what is wonderful about this project, as you mentioned, is it's really a collective impact project. We've got the city of Norfolk behind us. Their Parks and Recreation Department has been remarkable, wonderful partners. We have 2 partner offices there, Premier and Retirement Plan Consultants, and the partners and the people and employees who are connected to those businesses are just really enthusiastic, and they are community members. They live there. And then we worked with really one of the best-in-class playground and play space creators called Kaboom, and they're helping us with all of the components and making sure we think about all of the accessibility features, making sure we can get from the parking lot to the playground for any kiddos that might have mobility challenges. And we're also thinking, yes, in addition to pickleball courts and multi-sport courts, what else can we offer the play space that allows for a multi-generational place for people to gather. So we're going to have picnic tables and make sure that there's some nice shaded areas for parents and other family members that might come alongside. So it's really a wonderful way to give back to a community in partnership with community and to do that together. We had record-setting participation in the front end of community involvement in this project. So as a part of this process, kiddos get to design their dream play spaces, and we set a record with our partners at Kaboom. We had over 500 kiddos
It's amazing.
draw their designs. They're really, really fantastic. And some of them are hysterical. I saw a Starbucks drive-through at one of these. There was a tornado shelter, which in Nebraska would make a lot of sense. Yep. But not only the kids, we also had over 200 adults weigh in on the true components of the playground. I mean, yes, there are dream play spaces, and most of them had things like slides and swings and climbing walls and things like that. So those will be there in the playground. But the adults were also able to weigh in and say, we have some playgrounds in the neighborhood that have these things. We've never seen something like this, and we'd really like for you to offer that. So it's been a really fun project.
So we're so excited to announce this first one that we're going to be building here in a few weeks. And our goal is that we turnkey this for your community. Where Mary Elyse went to Norfolk, Nebraska. We started in Norfolk, Nebraska, because that's really where a lot of this started with Tom and Mike and Premier and all the things that we've been working on. We also have Wealth Firm Retirement Planning Consultants there. 2 great offices that were really engaged. And what we, as a foundation, have decided is we will support part of the construction process. The partners in their local area will match that. And if we have great opportunities where the community puts up the land and the playground space, where the partner says, I want to be engaged and I want to create this and I'll put up my money for that, then we'll come in and support it as well as the foundation. And it's this opportunity that we all get to come together, and then you get to invite everybody. So we're inviting carrier partners, we're inviting agents to come and help. We want all the employees, come help. Let's put this together. And our great partner at Kaboom, they make this so simple. They'll help us design it. Mary Elyse will work with your team to design the playground. And then they come in with all the different components.
That's right.
And all we ask is for you to show up, get ready to serve, get ready to get sweaty and dirty, and we're going to put this amazing playground together. I know you and I will be there.
That's right.
A lot of our team is flying up for that, and I can't wait to see the impact. So we'll have another Inspire podcast, and we'll be showing you the progress that we're making. But just think about the opportunity that we said, listen, we're going to make a lasting impact in this community. We're going to make a lasting impact. We're going to tie together the community to our business and the purpose. It's made great local news there. It's been all over the newspaper, et cetera. Then tying in the school system to where, I mean, having kids design their playground. When you said that we were going to do that, I was like, okay, what does that look like? And then we got over 500 kids saying, this is what I want. Think about the joy that's going to be on their face.
That's right.
It's going to be so cool, man. It's going to be so much fun. And then just think about the lasting impact that we will be able to have with this Integrity Playground in Norfolk, Nebraska. And then think about the opportunity to do this all across the country. We're looking for new sites. I know that you've had a lot of partners already contacting you. We announced some of this at our last partner meeting. And we've already got quite the list. But man, this is such a cool experience. And it's an opportunity for us to scale this in a way that we can give back and help communities in so many different ways. So if you think about the life, health, and wealth connection here, this is going to be just such an exciting way for us to tie together our business purpose to our philanthropic purpose of ways to give back. And we're looking at a bunch of other things. We're looking at employee assistance programs. We're looking at other ways to make sure that we're using all of our resources to help everybody continue to grow. And the one thing that I'm really proud of is that Integrity as a company is not paying for this.
Yeah.
Our partners came together and we funded the foundation. And so this is a privately funded public foundation now, to where our partners said, we will write the check to fund the foundation. And then we get to support the Integrity purpose and mission going forward. And all of our partners are behind this. Our investors are behind this. All of our managing partners have been behind this in such a great way. There's going to be ways that you can give back as an employee if you want to look at ways that you can give back. But man, one of the things that I think about is one of the best ways to get involved is to serve others. And for all of you to really get involved is to start thinking about how do we serve others even more. And it's one of our core values. But man, I just feel like there's such an opportunity for us to be, servant leaders in so many ways. And we're going to see that in Norfolk, Nebraska.
That's right.
The community impact, it'll raise the level of awareness around the community. It already has about the business that we do there with both of our amazing offices there. And it'll raise the opportunity for all of us to think about how do we give back. And so I want to thank you again for leading this effort. It's a big effort. It's been a lot of work to lay the foundation, no pun intended, for the Integrity Foundation, lay the groundwork, right? But now that we're ready, we can really focus on helping give back in school drives. We can help with our toy drives that we're going to be doing. And those things will just be a natural occurrence for us that we continue to build on. And we want to, if you have ideas, man, listen, we want your ideas to think about how we can do even more. And then with the playground spaces and the play spaces, man, I mean, you think about in 20 years from now, the playgrounds that we're building are going to be kids that, planting a tree. We should be planting some trees.
We could do that too.
We should be doing
Earth
that.
Day.
Part of that is planting some trees that we may never sit under the shade under, but future generations will be able to think about, man, this is such a great thing for you to do, and for us to take our family to, and just the joy that they get. So it ties together all of our core values. Think about that. It ties together every single one of our core values, and integrity, doing the right thing, and family, creating play spaces for families, about service, ways for us to give back and opening up opportunities for you to give back, about respect, really looking for ways to make this a great experience for everybody, and then about partnership, because we're truly partnering with the communities, partnering with our partners, partnering with our offices, partnering with employees, carriers, and it's an opportunity for us to live out our core values in a whole new way. And I can't wait to see what we do together. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Just such a privilege. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. And thank you to our Integrity family for everything that you're doing to give back. I can't wait to connect with you further and see how we can partner in your communities.
Hey guys, I say we're just getting started all the time. And I truly believe it. I believe that this is an initiative that will be a way that we're just getting started, ways to give back. And we want to invite everybody in. So if you have any questions, you need anything, ask your managing partner on how we can get involved here. We're going to be sending out a lot of information for us to get involved in the toy drives, the back to school supplies, and ways that we can start partnering with you in your local community. If you want to learn more about our playground initiative, please reach out to Mary Elyse, and we'll make sure that we provide you her contact info so that you can make sure that we can start working with your local community to think about opportunities that we can give back there. This is going to be, I think, one of the most impactful things that we've done, and I can't wait to do it with all of you. Thank you for everything you guys do to make Integrity such a great place, and for us to really serve our communities better well into the future. God bless you all, and have a great week.